Janessa, aka Nessa, aka Venus, aka that girl. This is gonna be my first solo video and we're gonna do a mental health Q&A. I am a big advocate for mental health because I'm human. We all deal with just day-to-day life, and that affects our mental health, whether it's good or bad, whether you're aware of it or not. So I went on Instagram and asked y'all to just ask me some questions that y'all have regarding mental health, and I'm gonna be here to be open about it. My podcast will be my next video, honey. My podcast name is Word to Nessa, because it's Word to Nessa. What are you really talking about? I'm gonna have a lot of special guests, and if you're interested in being in my podcast, honey, DM me at lioness.j or hit me up on TikTok at J from Venus, or just comment down below and we could work something out. Basically, I want to talk about it all, okay? Everything is out on the table. I'm gonna have guests come in and ask me questions and about any topic. It's all about being human. And I think that's the most important thing that we have to understand, that it doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter our race, our ethnicity, how we were raised, what we look like, our sexual orientation, our spiritual opinions. Just none of that matters. At the end of the day, we are human, and that's it. Part of being human is being vulnerable. And I find peace and I find comfort when I see other people. I'm not gonna call myself an influencer, but when I see influencers out there and celebrities be vulnerable about things that they go through on their day-to-day life, you know. So we're gonna start off with this video on mental health, so let's get into it. Okay, so there's no real specific order on how I'm answering these questions. I'm just going down the list. So the first question is, how do you stay consistent in doing the steps to get better mentally? Okay, so I know everything in life is about consistency. Everybody says, you know, if you're gonna go to the gym, make sure you stay consistent. If you're working on a diet, stay consistent. If you're trying to form a new habit, stay consistent. But let's be real. It's hard being consistent. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know what a minute from now is gonna bring. So it's really hard to stay consistent and stay in a routine when you just don't know what's gonna happen next, you know? So I think that when you take things day by day and one step at a time, it's so much easier to get in that habit, you know, and to actually see improvement. I think it's very unrealistic to be completely distraught one day and then you wake up the next morning and create this whole routine and then you continue it day after day after day after day and then boom, you're healed. It just doesn't happen that way. So I really think that the best way to stay consistent is really just taking it day by day. If you really wake up one morning and you're like, I don't want to get out of bed. Don't get out of bed. It's okay. It's okay. The world and society and social media makes it seem like for you to have a productive day, for you to do all these different activities and events and all these different actions throughout the day. And that's not true. Being productive is just being here another day. That's being productive. Staying alive another day is probably the most productive thing that you can do. So take it easy, take it one step at a time. Next question is, I know you're gonna be doing this for others and their mental health, but how are you? Shout out to you. If I'm being honest, I think that I am doing good. I think I'm doing good. The reason why I say good is because I don't want to say that there's always room for improvement, because there really is always room for improvement. But I think when you say stuff like that, it takes away from the progress you have already made. So I don't think that's fair to say that. But I'm going to say it good because I've had better days. My spiritual journey with the Lord, with Jesus, is really helping me get through another day. I'll say that. I can definitely be better, but I've definitely have been worse. And glory be to God that I am okay today. And that's all that matters. As long as you're okay for today, honey, tomorrow will come and hopefully you'll be good for the next day. You know what I mean? Thank you so much. I hope you're doing great. Next, top 3 coping mechanisms. Whether that's sad, angry, stressed, depressed, I try to surround myself around people that don't make me feel that way, that make me feel the opposite. That's one coping mechanism. Another coping mechanism Respectfully, my number one is to just cry. I am the biggest crybaby you'll ever meet in your whole life. When I tell you I cry over anything and everything, but that doesn't mean that my emotions are not valid, honey, because they are very much valid. If it's making you cry, baby, if it's making you stressed, if it's making you angry, if it's making you feel anything, then it is valid. But let it out, let it out, let it out, let it out. When you harbor those feelings in, you're not doing anything to yourself besides making it harder for you to cope, for you to get over whatever you're trying to get over. Third coping mechanism is to just do something that makes you feel grounded. For me, it's art. Art is something that makes me feel grounded. It makes me feel good about myself. And when I'm painting, whenever I'm doing nails, whenever I'm drawing, whenever I'm writing poetry, I literally don't think of anything else besides what I'm trying to create right in front of me. You could kind of see it right here in the corner. I have a canvas, huge canvas on the easel, and I propped it up there. And as you can tell, it has the plastic on it, so I haven't used it because I'm working on something first. But it's there as a reminder. Your biggest coping mechanism is right here, honey. Go pick up a canvas, go pick up a pencil, go pick up some paint brushes, and do what you gotta do, honey. So anything that makes you feel grounded, whether that's basketball, whether that's playing the video games, whether that's even scrolling on TikTok, whether that's reading your Bible, watching your favorite streamer, like, just do it. Anything that makes you feel grounded, anything that makes you feel like you. That's one of my biggest coping mechanisms. Have you lost anyone due to mental health, and how did that change you? Glory be to God that I have not lost anybody to mental health. But if you want to get deep, I feel like I've lost myself to mental health. And I really went through a hard time with my mental from the transitioning from high school to out of high school. Because I didn't know who I was anymore. Like, fresh out of high school, I was in a long-term relationship. So that also played part into why I didn't know who I was anymore. And I had to grieve that old person that I was. I had to really grieve that high school Janessa that I no longer can really relate to. You know what I mean? I think what made me get through that is really appreciating who I am now and who I'm becoming. And really just being in the present and like seeing what I'm capable of doing now. Like, I would compare myself, me now, to who I was before. I would compare how I look. I would compare my body. I would compare how I would act. I would compare my friendships, my relationships. I would compare my art. And I spent so much time comparing those two different people. I was neglecting who I was now. And so once I was able to really be this Janessa, this phase of who I am, this person, this woman that I am right now, the woman that I'm becoming, that's when I was able to really cope with that. It makes me feel like I have to treat myself better now, because one day when I'm not going through what I'm going through now, I'm gonna look back and be proud of who I was and be proud that I got through that. You know, it makes me want to take it easy on myself. But I've never really lost another person besides myself to mental health. I don't know if you ever dealt with social anxiety, but it's very real. PTSD and depression mixed together. Okay. I definitely deal with social anxiety. My personality is very bold. I'm very blunt. That could be good and bad. But I do have social anxiety. I might not look like it, but I do. I walk into a room and inside my mind, it's like chaos, but from the exterior I look perfectly fine. What helps me deal with my social anxiety is that 90% of the time everybody else around you feels the same way and they're just not showing it. So yeah, just, it's normal. Like, you'll get through it, and just be confident in who you are. Walk with your head high, walk with your shoulders up, honey, and keep it pushing. Like, you are your biggest critic. You can walk in a room full of people and you are the number one critic to yourself. So take it easy on yourself. PTSD and depression, what helps me get through that is prayer. And I know a lot of y'all might not be spiritual on here, but I am spiritual. I have a relationship with God, and he definitely has helped me cope with my PTSD and kind of like maneuver with it, because I don't think it ever goes away. That's something that you don't really fully heal from. You just learn how to live with it. So as long as you know your triggers, you know what triggers that PTSD, it's easier to kind of like maneuver through it. And I don't want to say avoid it, because it's not really good to avoid your problems. It's important to know how to maneuver through it. It's really different for everybody. How do you cope with feeling depressed on most days? Okay, let's really talk about it. I went through a time where I literally would wake up and just automatically be depressed. And I know I'm not the only one that has gone through this. But I literally wake up and I'm like, I'm depressed. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to eat. I don't want to shower. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do anything. That's just me being real. Day after 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 day. And it's like, I want to change, but it's just so hard. It's so much easier said than done. What helped me cope with feeling depressed on most days was taking it little by little, just doing a little change. You know, little changes really do big wonders. It could be something so small as getting up and fixing your bed. That'll make you feel so much better. Something that I dealt with a lot during my depression is like the messy room. So not that my room will be dirty or like I'll have like food around, and you know, if that's you, that's you. But it would just be like I'll have like clutter. So I have like my clutter of clothes, my clutter of laundry in the corner that I just would not do. I wouldn't look at it. I wouldn't touch it. I'll just add to it, add to it, add to it. And every time I walk into my room, I would just ignore it. Your environment is a reflection of how you truly feel inside. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying this is from my experience, honey. I overwhelm myself whenever I would see that pile of laundry and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta clean it all. I gotta clean it all. But really what helped me get through it is, okay, I'm gonna clean this little clutter today. Maybe if I feel up to it later, I'll clean this clutter. Tomorrow, I'll clean this clutter. Like, working on baby steps with yourself will really, really, really help you cope with depressive days. One day, literally just take yourself out to eat. You know, treat yourself. I think that's something else that's helped me cope with daily depression. Just treating myself, getting cute. If you're a girl, go get your hair done. Do your hair, do your makeup, do your nails. Do a little self-care day. If you're a guy, go get your hair cut, go get your nails done, go get a pedicure, put on your best fit, honey. Go wash your car, watch your favorite show, go play some basketball, go play the game. Self-care day, do a face mask. Journaling, that's another thing that really helped me cope. Journaling, just writing down how you feel. Go to Dollar Tree right now and buy a notebook and some pencils and some pens and just write how you feel. Literally, nobody ever has to see it, but you writing it down makes you kind of understand yourself more, understand why you feel the way that you do. There's been times where I felt so depressed. I'm like, I don't even know why I feel depressed, and I'm just writing it down. And then as I'm writing, I'm starting to understand why. So that's another coping mechanism. You don't have to go through anything by yourself. I know how it feels to really not have anybody. Like, I understand it. I'm in my wilderness season right now. Which I'll make a whole other video on that, but a little summary of what it is. And on most days I really wake up and I feel like I have nobody, but I promise you there is somebody. Social media is such a big thing. I promise you can reach out to somebody. If you don't have anybody to reach out, you can definitely reach out to me. I promise you I will get back to you. Don't ever feel like you're alone. It's what brings you peace, and how did you discover that? My relationship with God has really given me peace and given me something to look forward to. Letting go of things that I have no control over. That is one of the biggest things that's helped me gain peace. And I know that it's so much easier said than done, but when you really think about it, we stress over the things that we literally cannot control. We can't control it. So why stress over it? Like, there's nothing that you can do about it right now. Don't stress it. If it's tomorrow's worries, it's tomorrow's worries. Like, I'm gonna worry about what's in front of me right now. When it's time for me to worry about something else, it'll come. You know what I mean? And just take it day by day. Like, I think that's what's helped me. Like, I know I sound like a broken record, but taking it day by day, taking small steps will really, really show improvement. Do you think that you can heal the wrong way? Yes and no. The reason I say no is because if you heal, then you heal. However you healed, honey, that's how you healed. But the reason I say yes is because if you healed yourself from one burden, but then whatever you did to heal yourself from that created another burden, then I think that that might be a case of healing the wrong way. Do you feel like it's necessary to go to counseling in order to work on your mental health? I think that in some cases, counseling and therapy is necessary. I've always been one to say, I don't need therapy. I don't need it. I'm okay. Like, I'm not crazy. I don't want to go to therapists for what? So they can prescribe me pills, so they can prescribe me this. And like, no, how can a stranger tell me about myself? Like, they'll never understand. And that's something that I dealt with for so long and I battled for so long. But once I got into therapy, I promise you it helped me move on and heal from things I never thought I would heal from. It definitely was a trial and error type of thing. Like, I've had therapists that I liked and I've had therapists that I didn't like. Be open to counseling and therapy, but take it at your own pace. Like, you don't have to go every day to a therapist. You can literally see them once a month and be okay. And it doesn't have to be a long-term thing. It could literally be a short-term thing. What do you do to clear your mind when you feel overwhelmed? So I pray. That's my number one thing. I pray and I surrender it to Yahweh. I think that really, really helps me clear my mind. Another thing is grounding, doing anything that makes you feel like yourself. Things that bring me comfort in a state of feeling overwhelmed. Our brain is constantly working. So you're always thinking of something. Now, I would say to replace certain negative thoughts with positive thoughts, I would say literally just do something positive. Do it, even if it's something small, like literally turning on the game or turning on the TV, like taking a walk, to kind of reset your mind. Your mind will never be blank, but it could be clear of negative thoughts by replacing it with positive thoughts. What are signs and symptoms that my mental health is declining? I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, but I will give you signs that I've learned myself and I've learned with seeing my family members and my friends go through their own mental health issues. One of the biggest ones was being closed up in your room. It's normal to want to be by yourself, but when you notice that it's an all the time thing, an everyday thing where you literally don't want to associate with anybody, that's a sign that your mental health can be declining. Messy room, literally a messy room. Nobody wants to live in a messy room. So when you're living in a messy room, that could be a sign that, your mental health is declining. Another thing is attaching yourself to bad habits or people. I'm going to be vulnerable. I was actually diagnosed with an attachment disorder by my therapist. I meet somebody and I start to like them. I feel this attachment to them. That was definitely a sign for me that my mental health was declining. Smoking more than usual, drinking more than usual, to just kind of feel numb. I think that's another thing. And when you stop doing the things that you love, when you stop doing the things that make you you. Whenever I stopped doing art, that's when I realized that there was something wrong with my mental health. Don't beat yourself up about it. Like I said, if you do feel like your mental health is declining, just take it day by day and just try to get back into who you really are. We don't really realize it, but we are constantly changing. What you might have liked yesterday, you might not like today. Keep it cool on yourself. You know what I mean? Take it day by day and take it easy on yourself. Okay. When your grandma died, did that affect your mental health? And if so, what did you do to help with it? Okay, my mental health did decline rapidly. I went to a really, really low place for a really long time. So my grandma was in hospice for a while. We're kind of waiting for her passing because that's how bad her health was declining. Sit there and watch my grandma like slowly pass away. That was really traumatizing for me. One day she's like okay and she's talking and she's like aware of everybody around her, and then the next day she's completely silent, not eating, not verbal, not moving or anything. Very traumatizing. Such a big influence in my life, especially in my childhood, because I spent every day of my childhood at her house, and with her. Having to accept that I'm never gonna have that moving forward, something that I still am kind of like in denial about. I struggle with feeling close to her. An area here in my room where I buy pink flowers for her every month. It's like kind of like a tradition that I've created, and I have her picture up and have a letter that I wrote for her and like a candle and stuff, and just little stuff that remind me of her. And I have 2 of her sweaters that I actually keep next to my bed to make me feel close to her. I'm still not healed from it. I don't think that I ever will, and there's just some things in life that you don't heal from, but you learn to live with, and I'm still struggling with learning to live with that. I don't want to give any false advice that I'm not following. Something that somebody really special in my life, Rai, shout out to you, Rai. So I vent to him about stuff like this, and one thing that he's told me that has stuck with me is that my grandma has already fulfilled her purpose with me here on earth. anything that my grandma could have done for me in this lifetime, she has already done it. And I think the biggest thing that she has done for me is show me what pure love is, show me what a real prayer warrior is, and what a real woman of God is. And those are all three things that are vital to my life, you know what I mean, and that I'm always gonna have. So I think that that's something that's helping me move forward and cope with my grandma's death. So if you're going through a death, I really just say take it day by day and cry when you want to cry, scream when you want to cry, whatever makes you feel close to them. It's okay to cling on to it. It's okay to cling on to the memories, and it's okay to wonder why. Like, it's okay to wonder why. If you ever want to like talk more about coping with a death, you can always reach out to me. What do you have to say to younger you? I would say a lot. Stop stressing. It is out of your control. You cannot control what your parents do. You can't control what your parents think. You can't control how your parents feel. Your parents' mistakes do not define you, and they never will define you. I don't want to get emotional. But I would say you're a great sister, and you did a great job at being an older sister. And I say that because I think that's one of the biggest tasks I've had to deal with. I'm sorry, hold on. Sorry. One of the hardest tasks that I had to deal with in my life is being an older sister and feeling like I'm good at it. My first younger brother, we are only 3 years apart. So he would literally be like 4 years old, and I'll be 7 years old, trying to protect him from certain things, and it's such a hard task, you know, to do as a child. So I really beat myself up about it. I put a lot of pressure on myself as an older sister. Did amazing, and you're still doing amazing. You are enough for yourself. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're not enough for anybody else. You don't need to be enough for anybody else. You are enough for yourself. You're gonna be okay. Let go of the people that want to leave. Let go, because anything that wants to leave does not need to be kept, honey. I would say I'm proud of my younger self. I'm very proud of you. Prouder than I thought I'd ever be. Did your mental health affect the people around you? Never been told that my mental health has affected people around me, but I am aware that it has, especially with my siblings. I think with my brothers, I feel like them seeing me depressed every day and crying every day, and constantly saying how I didn't want to live anymore every day. I think that took a toll on them, and I feel like sometimes I kind of blame myself for my brother's mental health issues, because I feel like my mental health issues kind of like rubbed off on them. And as an older sister, they, in a way, even if they don't want to admit it, they kind of look up to me and they kind of follow my steps. So I feel like the way that I used to cope with my mental health kind of ruined the way that they cope with their mental health. So what do you like the most about yourself and how you think? I trust purely. I trust genuinely. When I trust, I trust. When I love, I love. When I care, I care. I'm very, very passionate about everything that I do. That's something that I really love about myself. And how I think I have such an open mind that I'm willing to listen to anything and anybody. Whether we believe in the same things or not, I'm always open to listen and to just learn. What led you back to God? I think my breakup led me back to God, because I was just so alone. I went through a phase where I didn't know how to be alone. I didn't know how to sleep alone, eat alone, wake up alone, drive alone, just be alone, period. So I would fill that void with people that weren't feeding my spirit the way that they should have. Realized I was never truly alone because I had Yahweh with me. And another thing that led me back to God was my grandma passing, because I truly witnessed the face of God, and and the works and the miracles of God and just the wonders of God. I was able to see that through my grandma's death. Sorry, y'all. Audio cut off. But what age did you start to feel mentally not okay at times and moments? I had depressing moments, and I've always had anxiety as a kid. I would say when I was 13, that's when I really realized that I had mental health issues. So that's basically all the questions that I received on my Instagram regarding mental health. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me. My next video will be my first podcast episode. So please stay tuned to Word to Nessa, honey. I have a lot of great things coming for y'all. I got a lot of great things coming for y'all. But thank you guys so much for being vulnerable in these questions, asking me these questions. Thank you so much. Like, you have no idea how appreciative I am of this, of your courage. It's hard to talk about these things, but we gotta talk about them, because if we don't, honey, it'll eat us alive. Please don't go through it alone. You do not have to go through it alone, I promise you. Stay true to who you are, love one another, love yourself. Be blessed, stay safe, and stay woke, honey. Whoever you are watching this video, you're beautiful, and I love you. I genuinely love you. I don't have to know you to love you, baby. I just love you, okay? Oh, hold on. Follow my Instagram at lioness.j. Follow my TikTok at J from Venus. And go follow my business page, Claws by Nessa, honey. And if you want to see the behind the scenes of a rock star, follow my spam at Venus with J. Not everybody can get in a club, honey, but it's worth a try. And be blessed, okay? Bye.